Being labeled an industry plant is the ultimate insult for rising artists, suggesting their success isn't earned, but was manufactured by their labels. Nowadays, it's just something that stands fight over, but those accusations can have real-world consequences for the artists. In this video, we'll look at 8 superstars that were accused of being industry plants. Billie Eilish. When Billie Eilish first emerged with her breakout single Ocean Eyes in 2016, many listeners were stunned by how polished and professional the song sounded for someone who was 14 at the time. It was originally uploaded to SoundCloud and quickly went viral and was picked up by major playlists immediately, which led skeptics to suspect that her rise wasn't organic at all. Adding to this perception was the fact that Billie comes from a family of Hollywood connections. Her parents were both actors and musicians, and her brother Phineas was already producing music before Ocean Eyes. To critics, this background made her success look less like an underdog story and more like an industry-backed launch. It was more suspicious when one of the biggest streaming platforms, Apple Music, signed her to their A&R company Platoon, which specializes in packaging emerging artists before they get a major label contract. As her career skyrocketed, accusations of being an industry plant followed her into the release of When We All Fall Asleep Where Do We Go in 2019. The album debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200 and produced global smashes like Bad Guy, but she was already a superstar, and her way of making music with her brother in their bedroom didn't change. She had the marketing push, but the movement she built in the late 2010s was kind of organic. After that, she swept the big 4 Grammy categories in one night and made history, making her an industry darling. However, Billie Eilish has consistently proven that she is more than a product of the system. And if you look at her documentaries, it's clear that she has been working on her gift for years now. Her distinctive sound and unique visuals carved out a lane that reshaped pop music forever. While her family connections may have given her an entry point, it is undeniable that her artistry kept her relevant long after the initial hype. If Billie was an industry plant, she has since broken the pot and grown beyond that. Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo's rise to fame in early 2021 was so sudden and massive that many immediately labeled her an industry plant. Having already starred in Disney shows like Bizarre Walk and High School Musical the series, she was no stranger to the entertainment business. When her first single Driver's License debuted on #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, it shattered Spotify streaming records in its first week. Skeptics questioned how a 17-year-old could come out of nowhere and dominate everything without industry backing. The fact that she was signed to Geffen Records only amplified suspicions, even though her deal was reportedly artist-friendly, as she owns all her masters. The release of her debut album Sour in May 2021 kept the conversation going. Every single, Deja Vu, Good For You, and Traitor, dominated radio and streaming, with Good For You becoming a cultural phenomenon. Critics of Olivia argued that the rollout was too perfect, from her carefully curated purple aesthetic to her polished interviews. To some, it felt like her career had been carefully planned for years, presenting her as a relatable teenager while having the full force of a major label behind her. Still, Olivia has shown staying power beyond her debut. With the release of Guts in 2023, she avoided the dreaded sophomore slump and cemented her status as one of Gen Z's most influential pop stars. Her first breakthrough was mainly because of the love triangle that dominated TikTok when Driver's License came out, which could explain the early attention. Whether her rise was accelerated by industry support or not, her ability to make relatable quality music makes her more than just a label experiment. Figuring out who is or who isn't an industry plant is impossible. I think it's more important if you really connect to an artist or not. Who cares how they were marketed to you if you continue to listen to them? Halsey. When Halsey first broke out in the mid-2010s with Room 93 and her debut album Badlands, she was immediately hit with industry plant allegations. Many critics and online fans argued that her rapid rise from Tumblr fame to signing with a label and landing festival slots like Coachella before releasing a full-length project felt manufactured rather than organic. Her image as a rebellious, hotspot voice of a new generation, combined with strong label backing and heavy promotion, that her career was carefully engineered rather than earned through grassroots momentum. The accusations intensified when Halsey's second album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, debuted on #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, cementing her mainstream status. Some argued that her collaborations with already established stars, like the Chainsmokers on Closer, or being featured on Justin Bieber's album Purpose early, were industry moves designed to keep her in the spotlight. The narrative was that she was positioned as a global superstar before truly proving herself, which led to people asking about the authenticity of her rise. Despite the backlash, Halsey consistently proved her artistry and songwriting ability, with later albums like Manic and If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power showcasing her artistry. She has diverted her focus to making full bodies of work rather than chasing mainstream relevance, and over time, the industry plant label faded as Halsey showed her longevity. Alessia Cara. When Alessia Cara first got her big break in 2015 with her debut single Here, she was seen as a fresh voice in pop and broke through singing about feeling out of place at parties. She made the anti-social anthem. The song exploded on streaming platforms and radio, propelling her debut album Know It All into the spotlight. But almost as quickly as she rose, whispers of her being an industry plant started circulating. Some critics felt her label Def Jam had neatly packaged her as a relatable outsider, and her overnight success made people wonder about how organic her breakout really was. The accusations grew louder when she won the Grammy for Best New Artist in 2018. Many fans argued that she was too established to be considered new, pointing out her string of hits like Scars to You Beautiful and features on Zed's Stay and Logic's 1-800. Instead of being celebrated, she found herself at the center of online backlash, accused of being pushed by the industry rather than earning her success. This negative narrative overshadowed what should have been a career-defining victory. Over time, however, Alessia has proven her artistry extends beyond any industry narrative. Her follow-up projects, including The Pains of Growing and In the Meantime, were not commercial, as she was making the music she wanted to make, distancing her from the plant accusations. While her commercial momentum slowed, compared to her explosive debut, she built a reputation as a talented artist. Lana Del Rey. When Lana Del Rey first appeared on the music scene in 2011 with her viral hit Video Games, she was instantly labeled an industry plant. Fans were suspicious of how polished her image appeared right out the gate with her vintage aesthetic and carefully crafted persona. Many critics argued that no new artist could have such fully formed identity without major label backing. Her past as Lizzie Grant was an earlier failed attempt at pop stardom, which only fueled the narrative that she was being repackaged and pushed on to the masses. The controversy reached a boiling point after her infamous Saturday Night Live debut in January 2012. Her shaky vocals and awkward stage presence had critics suggesting that she had been artificially elevated to stardom. Despite the negative press, Lana's major label debut Born to Die became a commercial success, debuting on #2 on the Billboard 200 and spawning enduring hits like Summertime Sadness and Blue Jeans. The backlash, however, cemented her status as one of the first artists in the streaming age to be branded with the plant label. However, Lana's artistry spoke for itself. Albums like Ultraviolence, Honeymoon, and Normal Fucking Rockwell silenced critics and earned her both commercial success and critical acclaim. She is now a modern legend that has influenced the sound of music for over a decade and a half. The accusations of being an industry plant eventually faded as Lana built her legacy as one of the most important singer-songwriters of her era. Gracie Abrams. Gracie Abrams has often been accused of being an industry plant because of her family background. She is the daughter of legendary filmmaker J.J. Abrams, whose influence and connections in the entertainment world made skeptics question whether her rise was organic. When Gracie began releasing songs like Mean It and Stay on platforms like SoundCloud, critics pointed out how quickly she gained coverage from major outlets and went on tours with artists like Olivia Rodrigo. For some, that felt suspicious compared to the typical grind of an emerging artist. Despite the accusations, she has continuously proven her credibility as a songwriter. Her debut projects, Minor and This Is What It Feels Like, built her fan base. Her vulnerability, honesty, and delivery drew comparisons to Taylor Swift, who took her own tour and even give her a feature, a privilege only given to her. As far as I could remember. By the time she released her debut album Good Riddance in 2023, Gracie had already earned a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist. The narrative of her being an industry plant has not gone away, even though she has become a legitimate superstar. While it's undeniable that privilege helped her gain visibility, she has been honest about her background, never pretending she started from nothing. In many ways, her story reflects the gray area between industry push and authentic talent, making her one of the most nuanced cases in the industry plant debate. Tate McRae. Tate McRae's path to stardom looks suspiciously polished to some, leading to her being labeled an industry plant early on. She first gained attention as a dancer on So You Think You Can Dance, before pivoting into music through her YouTube series Create with Tate. After signing with RCA Records, became one of Gen Z's most heavily promoted rising stars, with her viral hit You Broke Me First, dominating TikTok and the global charts in 2020. The speed of her rise, securing major playlist placements and late-night TV appearances, sparked accusations that her career was being orchestrated behind the scenes. Then, she really broke through with her 2022 debut album I Used to Think I Could Fly, which was heavily marketed but didn't fully dominate the charts as expected, leading some to claim as evidences that she was a plant. In the age of viral discovery, felt too convenient for people who weren't really paying attention. However, Tate McRae's recent breakout era with Think Later in 2023, fueled by the smash hit Greedy, silenced much of the criticism. Greedy hit the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 and became her most streamed song globally. Rather than being a short-lived industry darling, she solidified herself as a bona fide pop star. She had the voice, the dancing ability, and the X factor to become a huge star. Just needed some push to make her dreams a reality. The industry plant narrative has gone away in recent years, as she has been delivering banger after banger for years now. Clairo. Clairo is one of the most cited examples in conversations about industry plants. After her 2017 track Pretty Girl went viral on YouTube, people began digging into her background and discovered her father's high-profile connections. Her dad, Dave Cottrell, had previously been an executive at Coca-Cola and Converse, and even worked with music-focused companies, including ties to Fader magazine. These revelations fueled rumors that Clairo's rapid rise from bedroom pop artist to indie darling wasn't as grassroots as it seemed. What made her case especially divisive was that she initially marketed herself as a lo-fi DIY creator, filming her early videos in her bedroom with a webcam. To some, this clashed with her industry connections. Critics argued that she was packaged as a small-time indie artist to attract authenticity points in a music climate that favors relatability. Clairo herself, however, has been fairly open about her privilege, acknowledging her father's role in her career, while emphasizing that she still had to prove herself as a songwriter and performer. Since then, she has continued to evolve musically, releasing critically acclaimed albums like Immunity and Sling. She has built a dedicated fan base, as her last album, Charm, sold around 50,000 units in its first week, a number even most mainstream artists cannot reach these days. While the industry plant accusations remain a part of her narrative, her growth has largely killed the discourse. For many, Clairo's journey shows that while connections might open doors, consistency and quality music are what sustain a career. Which superstars that were accused of being industry plants did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.